Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Whole Magazine, where we are a podcast with a gun-themed name that doesn't talk about guns.
I think our gun guy is then failing us, I think. That's crazy.
No. He just owns weapons. He's not actually a gun person.
I'm not a gun guy. I have him for that.
We can talk about guns. What do you guys want to talk about?
Yeah, well,
We definitely
when I
are
asked
going
you for
to-
shit that you wanted to talk about, that's when you send it
We're
in.
actually
so
going to talk about this shit for once.
And yeah.
I wanted to talk about the things that are already on this.
Huh?
I wanted to talk about things that are already on the
Okay, good.
schedule. So
yeah.
But none of it is really about guns,
Hello.
other than the political side.
Hello, welcome to episode 35 of the Whole Magazine, or what should be episode 35. I still have to edit the last episode, but we're all good. Hey, Walker, why don't you take us into the alcohol review?
Okay, apparently we're doing an alcohol review, and I'm talking through the sound that you engineered. What do we have? We have an 8.1% alcohol volume, high-gravity lager from Steel Reserve. It's been slow brewed for exceptionally smooth flavor. Isn't this... That's just all lagers?
I believe so, yes.
I think all lagers are slow brewed.
This sounds like all lagers, really.
It says extra malted barley and select hops for extra gravity.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah, this is a heavy can of beer.
It is. It's how many ounces? 24?
Yes.
Okay, she's a big boy. Okay, it's 2023. You know, she's a big boy. Completely viable sentence.
So, yeah, that's basically what we got. Hold on. It says the 211 mark, based on the medieval symbol for steel, appears only on Steel Reserve R, restricted high-gravity lager. We use nearly twice the ingredients of many normal lagers and brew for over twice as long as many quality beers. Cool.
Okay, so it's old
Stamped
beer.
SR, probably for Steel Reserve.
All right, go ahead and pour us some, bud.
Okay.
Yeah,
I will get the glasses.
Yeah, last episode we tried the mead, the Danish mead, as well as the Washington
much
Gold
of the
Cider.
Danish mead.
It was delicious, and it was well
I got
worth it.
way too drunk on the last podcast.
It was well worth the punishment. So good. The addition of the hops in that mead was just stellar. That was just so impressive. So good. All right, Hayes, hand me that one pouring right now.
Yep.
How much do you want?
That's fine. That's good.
Just enough to taste.
Yep. That's it's neat. Smelling it, it
Yes,
smells
it is served without ice.
smells more akin to a cider, and it's very sweet, very fruity. It is. I can't tell you where I got this, folks. I'm sorry. I can't tell you how much it is, but
Why? Is it
actually,
classified?
hey, Cade, go ahead and pull that up for us. Go and look up this beer for us, the 24 ounce. See how much
Should
it
we
is.
do introductions?
Oh no,
we
we didn't.
didn't.
Hey,
No, yeah.
Hayes. Hello,
Hey, that's
buddy.
me. I'm raising my hand. You can
Yes,
see
here
me.
we go. We have Walker who brought us in,
Yeah.
and then we have Cornette.
Hello.
Hold on, do that again, Cornette.
Hello.
It doesn't
You
really
don't
smell
wanna
like a
talk
cider. It
back
definitely
here.
smells like a
No,
lager.
again.
Hello.
That's better.
There it is.
Okay.
Yeah. I had you all the way down.
What you want me to search?
Search up how much this runs for. The Steel Reserve.
Interesting.
It is sweet.
Yeah, I was correct. I smelt it sweet. It's you know, it's
It's
I don't know how to feel
very
about
light.
that.
It's, I wouldn't say fruity.
it's fruity on the nose. Not taste. It's not fruity. It is sweeter. It's not. There's no bitterness.
Yeah, it's not super hoppy.
It's smooth. But that's due to the sugar. So like, I mean, it's not overly sweet personally. I don't think it's overly sweet. It is definitely sweeter than most lagers though, which is impressive because so they said that they use more ingredients. They brought it up to 8%, and they still have this
I
residual
don't think
sweetness.
it's very flavorful in general, actually.
It's not. It's not a very flavorful lager at all. It's the nose reminds me of a cider. It's very fruity. It's floral, and then the taste is light beer, but sweeter.
I
Just a notch sweeter.
would rather drink Pilsner.
Yeah, I think so. This isn't a bad beer. I would crack these open. You know, just like outside, hot summer's day. It's a good summer drink.
Good summer drink.
Good summer drink.
Don't think
Pour me some.
I really like it.
So, a single can is $3.29.
$3.29.
Yeah, and
I mean, it's a beer, so it's not
It's
gonna
a
be
beer.
super expensive.
It's also a huge can.
and a 12 pack of the 24 ounces is $17.99.
So it's a lot, but it's a craft beer, so like it's a lot for beer.
I think that's something that you can't knock. That's not a bad beer. I think yeah, it's fine.
Actually, give me a full glass of that.
Well, I guess I'm not factoring in that it's the 24 ounces. So I don't think that's not super expensive.
How much would you say?
Not super expensive. $3 apparently for a 24 ounce.
Oh wow.
And $17 for
17 for a 12 pack of 24.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it. That's the beautiful Steel Reserve.
And if any of y'all want to know, it is coming directly from their website.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Hey folks, why don't you go hop on over to thewholemag.com, follow us on the website, go hop onto Facebook,
Make
follow
sure
us
you
there.
put it in HTTPS,
Yeah,
otherwise it'll steal your data,
HTTPS.
apparently.
Go ahead and just do the normal things. This normal privacy shit for online stuff, so have no fear.
This is where we get our subscription from any of the VPNs.
Yeah, right.
If you want to read our website safely, you need a VPN.
Go visit.
You never know when we're gonna start tracking you guys reading our articles.
I mean, I have basic
This is an
analytic data.
FBI honeypot. I mean, no, sorry, this isn't an FBI honeypot. Wink, wink.
Haha.
I have basic, analytic data, but nothing crazy.
Basic analytic data, access to your webcams, keyloggers,
personal information, like I know your kid's name. Anyway,
Yeah, you better change your social, bro.
Yeah, I better change it quick. Let's see. Pulling up my show notes on the old iPad.
What's your social? 1, 2, 3,
So-
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Hey, buddy.
Yes.
I understand that you have some rather, I think, pressing UCMJ military news.
There's
Why
a,
don't you go and guide us in?
So there's this Lance Corporal in the Marine Corps by the name of Catherine Arnott, and I hope I'm getting that right. So she's one of the vaccine refusers on religious grounds, and she's been fighting this since forever, because the Marine Corps was quicker to mandate that that their force completely vaccinate 100%. It was quicker than the Army. It was quicker than the Air Force, and they were the first to kick people out for not doing it either, right? And they kicked out, I think, the most people. I remember, it just shocked me when I was still in Korea, and I saw an article that they had already kicked out 3,000 Marines from the fleet.
Yep.
Which is pretty insane. I think that was 4 months go by from when everyone was like, oh, okay, we got to do all these, you got to be all confined to post for safety. You all got to start wearing masks even on post. When that started to when I saw the first, I'm going to say firings, but the discharges, that was 4 or 5 months, maybe 6. Yeah. And so this girl has been fighting it forever. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to scroll down to the really juicy part of the article because she's still in it, right? Because the Marine Corps has, the rest of the force, the Department of Defense has said this is not a policy anymore. This is not required. But you all know the difference between, practiced policy and written policy. Right now, commanders are still trying to fuck people for doing what they're allowed to do. That's crazy, right? Well, so this girl, let me find it.
I have notes as well.
Yeah, her chain of command had her arrested for basically trumped up charges that they made up, and they've dropped a few of them. And the amazing one is that she forged her commander's signature and made false statements.
Yeah.
And they dropped the false statements one, and they're going to drop this forgery thing because
it was verifiably the information, the evidence was so black and white that she was innocent on those charges. And what this is stemming from is the chain of command was basically trying to get her and make her one of the 3,000 that got discharged from the Marine Corps but she was saved by that federal judge who ruled that you cannot start discharging people because of their religious exemptions. So she was charged under Article 86, unauthorized absence, Article 87, missing movement, Article 87B, breach of restriction, Article 92, failure to obey order or regulation, Article 105, which is forgery. Now, they explain why all these charges were applied to her. On Article 86, where she unauthorized absence, she was directed to go to a passenger terminal on 21st of January. Mind you, she's in Okinawa, Japan. For Article 87...
she probably has been moved over to the States now.
Yeah. For Article 87, she was ordered to board a rotator flight on January 22nd in order to report for the separation platoon, but she intentionally missed the flight. For Article 87B, she violated pretrial restriction and she refused to stay in her barracks room. She read the terms again of the restriction, but said she would not comply with them. Article 92, she repeatedly disobeyed orders to change her barracks room. Article 105, she is accused of forging documents to give herself defense travel service permission from her commander that her commander previously revoked, which is hilarious because it was so easy to prove it wrong. There was an email from her commander basically showing that he was thanking her for continuing to work, which relied on her having that access, which is hilarious. All of these things, all these charges, by the way, are predicated on the forgery charge. And since that was dropped, they're just like, we don't know what to do. So yeah, she was transferred.
Still being transferred.
Yeah, she was transferred over to San Diego. She made a statement, which
I got it right here.
You got it. You want to read the statement?
Yeah. So she wrote a letter to a reporter, or I guess an insider. You can find him on Instagram called Terminal Warrant Officer. This is the statement. Quote: I fully and consciously and willingly declare that upon the moment I am taken into custody by MPs or other entities to be transferred from Okinawa to California / CONUS, I will not speak, I will not eat, and I will not consume any drink until I'm permitted to speak to General David H. Berger. End quote.
Yeah, beautiful. I mean, this is the thing, is I feel like this isn't a problem that's exclusive to the Marine Corps.
It's not.
The difference
it's
is
just that theirs is far worse.
Is the military, she's not quiet about it. And so I'm absolutely positively 100% sure that what happened is that her chain of command was salty, that they couldn't just do whatever they want, because I feel like a lot, especially in the Marine Corps, I think it's a big ego attached to leadership in the Marine Corps. Mm-hmm. And so they felt like they were stepped on, and they were basically put in their place and like, no, you can't do that. And so they fabricate all these charges to try to still get her, so they can be like, haha, we still got you.
You know what this girl has? She has way more courage than that fucking 2-star general in the Army that was like pressured to stay quiet, even though the vaccine caused injuries to him.
Yeah,
right. And he was just pressured by other stars to be like, no, you can't do it, don't do it. Or it was probably more like, if you do, we'll fuck your career. Right.
Yeah.
And he just kind of went along with it. Nah, this girl's in jail, bitch. Man, fucking just ridiculous, man.
It's a pretty ridiculous statement. It's a pretty ridiculous situation entirely.
Some of the bravest people on the planet being led by some of the dumbest and most cowardly people on the planet.
So apparently Washington State passed a bill that, of course, I'm reading a headline mostly, that allows them to take children from parents who do not support transgender ideations. Let's get a little bit more clarity on that. No, Washington State cannot come and take your children. Okay? What this bill actually is a little bit more sinister and a little bit more covert, right? Yeah. So this bill was signed into law by Governor Jay Inslee, which allows the state to intervene in their kids' medical care in certain circumstances. This bill allows for host homes for runaway youth to house youth without parental permission. They also do not need to notify the parents about where their kids are or if they are getting medical interventions.
That's one of the big changes.
What are we talking about? They're talking, when they say medical care, quote unquote, they're talking about
trans-affirming surgery,
transgender affirming care. That's what they're talking about. They're talking about sterilizing children for the rest of their lives. California is actually in a similar vein of considering legislation that will limit, basically restrict parental rights. A lot of the conservative sphere is saying that this is basically just legalized kidnapping, which is what it is, which is just absolutely just awful. It's disgusting. There's a DC bill that's that was just pushed out. This clarification. This bill is more or less a revocation of what was going on previously. So they're undoing this stuff. If you get what I'm meaning here, this is the
couple of things that I just want to lay out for all of you and on what the DC bill does. It reduces maximum penalties for offenses like murders and other homicides, armed home invasion burglaries, armed carjackings, as I mentioned, armed robberies, unlawful gun possession, and some sexual assault offenses.
Yes. I'm more and more convinced every day that like the main constituency of the government is the criminal class. Yeah, we got to protect them. But like if we execute criminals, who would vote for us?
So keep in mind that this is reversing
Felons
those
can't
things
vote anyway. Usually, so
well,
keep in mind that this bill,
aliens. But...
So this bill was supported by Biden in the reversal of this. So it's no longer a thing. They got rid of the bill that reduced maximum sentencing, maximum sentencing. So in a way, I think this is a pretty damn good decision. They're actually,
do?
yes,
Why?
So there was a bill that reduced the maximum sentencing for all those crimes. Okay, that decision reverted that. They took away the maximum sentencing. You following me?
Yeah, but I don't see why that's a great idea.
Because it
So
means you can
there's
charge somebody
no
for like
maximum.
60 years.
Oh, my bad. I thought you said. Never mind. I thought you meant minimum.
No, it's
bad.
maximum. Now, this is good. This is probably one of the better decisions. And apparently the White House says that this decision was made because, it wasn't really being conducive to changing how policing works. Okay. How about you just stop your soft on crime ideology altogether, and that would fix a lot of things. But good job, I guess, White House. You did one thing good. President Biden, after these recent shootings, tweeted, "Ban assault weapons. It's beyond time," because the powers that be they do comprehend fully what the Second Amendment is and what it means. The left would love nothing more if they had a button that would nuke the entire continent of Africa, Asia, Australia, so that way they can become a nation like Australia where they get rid of guns from its citizens. They would press that button in a heartbeat.
I mean,
because what's
if there's no
stopping
retaliation? Why wouldn't you press the button?
what's stopping them from total control?
If you could nuke 3 continents with no retaliation, why wouldn't you just do that?
Because
I don't like your analogies. what I'm saying.
the left knows that they this is pointing out their hypocrisy, because they love nothing more than other countries. They hate America. They love every other country. And so they would gladly just get rid of the other countries if that means they can have unfettered power in the United States.
I mean, there's a silver lining here. We finally have a sitting president on record saying it is about your assault weapons. It is about your rifles. It's about your pistols. It's about your magazines.
It's about guns in general.
Yeah, it's beyond time. We have to get rid of these. So whenever some shit
literally the current year.
Yeah, whenever the shit lib tells you, "Oh no, we're not," it's just common sense gun control. We're not getting rid of all your guns. It's just a wild imagination. You're very paranoid. They're not going to come get you.
There's no way
AK-47.
right
They're
now
not gonna
that
get
any
your
kind
AR.
of federal assault weapon ban could, or any kind of federal restrictions on types of firearms could pass unless they decide to pack the Supreme Court. Because the Supreme Court has already decided in the Bruin decision that you have to show a history of regulating firearms, and there is no history of regulating semi-automatic firearms in the United States, at least not from before the Constitution was signed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, this is good because now we can just show them, hey, this is what your elected officials want.
Well,
this is something that you want.
This is a thing, though.
And it's what you've always wanted.
We're starting to, more and more states are starting to do the whole assault weapons ban. That's what we see
There's
Washington.
also a lot of states doing the opposite. and
Yeah.
just-
Washington, for example, has joined 9 other states that ban assault weapons.
I'm not sure if the governor signed it yet, but it did pass out of the state legislature.
Yeah, it's supposedly going up to Governor Inslee, but he already stated that he will just sign into law if it gets up to him. So
Yeah.
California, Connecticut, Delaware, Hawaii, Maryland, Massachusetts, New York, and New Jersey are all states that do these restrictions, if not outright bans, on the sales of these quote-unquote assault weapons. Each state also has their own definition of what an assault weapon is. If we go based off of Biden's definition and the vast majority of the left, it is anything that can hold more than 5 rounds. So a 6-round revolver is an assault weapon by their definition. They don't care. They don't care. It doesn't depend. They say it's if it can hold 5 rounds or more, regardless of whether it's semi-automatic or fucking, single fire, whatever the fuck, single action. If it can hold more than 5 rounds, it is a assault weapon. That is what they say. They want you to go back to double barrel shotguns and 4-round hunting rifles is what they want you to go back. And even then, they don't even want you
They'll
to have
take
that.
those away too. Eventually.
They don't want you to have that.
Black powder.
I'm hoping
pistols, bridge too far.
that they've gone a little bit more sensical in what they're stating is an assault weapon. Maybe now that there's more and shit going on, but Biden's whole platform was running on this last election was anything that can hold more than 5 rounds, which is absolutely retarded to anybody who has seen a firearm or has a firearm. Oh no, my pistol oh my God, I had a revolver at one point that would be an assault weapon. I'm a mass murderer waiting to hatch. I'm a sleeper cell. They just have to say the word pineapple 4 times and I'm off. Pineapple on pizza, pineapple. I'm gone. I'm gone. Watch out. No, it's stupid. Also, by the way, California, their statistics, because they just ban assault weapons. All right, there's about 8.3 days between mass shootings in California. Yeah, 8.3 days between mass shootings in
Because they
California.
count gang violence.
Is that the waiting period to get a gun?
No,
That'd be fun.
that'd be
if it
about like
was.
8 years in
That's
California.
the same guy every 8.3 days. How does he keep getting away with it?
How do they keep selling them
But
guns?
these are all tied into these things. Go ahead.
Speaking
Are we
of,
still talking about the House Bill 1240
For what?
assault weapon ban?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I actually have the bill pulled up.
Oh, good.
This is really what I wanted to talk about. So, let me find the part that we're looking for. So, an assault weapon, for the purposes of this law, means any of the following: AK-47 in all forms, AK-74, Algemec AGM-1, American Arms Spectre, AR-15, M16, M4, AR-180, plus, basically think about any kind of semi-automatic rifle, right? There's a whole list, all by name, which are banned, right? So you can't have them in any form. It doesn't matter. I don't even think, with the provisions of the law, though I'm not a lawyer, I don't even think you could have a semi-automatic California conversion for it. Thin grips are not considered different than having a pistol grip. So also if you have, where does it say this? So it says conversion kits, parts, or combination of parts from which an assault weapon can be assembled is banned. So there are those semi-automatic, basically turns your AR-15 into a straight pull bolt action. You have to throw away your bolt, or that's still an AR-15, or it's still an assault weapon.
So they did say that this was a ban on sale and imports. You can still own them in Washington State. You just can't bring them in.
Yeah, you can't buy.
So this is interesting. So what I'm sure the legality of it is, if you go on a vacation and you bring your rifle, you legally can't bring it back in the state.
Well, I'm
because
not
that's
a
technically
lawyer.
import.
But if I read,
That's what that would sound like. I would imagine that's how they would write the law.
So there's a section in here about that.
If their goal is to get rid of them, then that's
Okay,
probably part of it.
so
honestly.
section 21, it looks like, says import means to move, transport, or receive an item from a place outside the territorial limits of the state of Washington to a place inside the territorial limits of the state of Washington. Import does not mean situations where an individual possesses a large capacity magazine or assault weapon when departing from and returning to Washington state, so long as the individual is returning to Washington in possession of the same large capacity magazine or assault weapon that the individual
good.
transported out of state.
So it's not as totalitarian as I would
that
think.
was the only change in the bill that happened when it went to the Senate from the House, is that they changed it to be like the large capacity magazine ban that's on the books already, and then it went back to the House and they said change the language, and they just changed the language. So
Good. That's surprising. Well, hey, I'm a little bit happier.
So
No,
you can
I'm not.
fly out of state with it, but
Good. That's
I would
actually a
I would
surprise.
expect some kind of issues with that at some point, but
Yeah.
So continuing with what else is banned, it's like if you have 1 second. Yeah, so if it has a combination of a couple of thumbhole stock, folding or telescoping stock, forward pistol, vertical angled, or other grip designed for use by the non-firing hand to improve control, which is an interesting thing, because does that mean a handguard? You have to fire one-handed now?
You have to hold the barrel with your hand now.
So they banned flash suppressors, flash guards, flash eliminators, flash hiders, sound suppressors, silencer, any item designed to reduce the visual or audio signature of the firearm. And they've also banned having a muzzle brake on it. So if you decide to get a thumbhole stock and a muzzle brake on your bolt-action rifle, pretty sure that counts. Not a lawyer, but just from reading this.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, so this is basically the most stringent weapons ban, I think, out of any of the 50 states.
God, I hope it doesn't stand.
And there's a lot more. There's a lot more things on there that I haven't read about, like what can or cannot be, or what they will consider to make your firearm a assault weapon, depending on if it's attached or not.
You know, I guess
It is literally a blanket semi-automatic weapon ban as far as like rifles go, I guess.
it fucking sucks,
Amazing.
man. First magazine ban, and then this. This is how it goes.
You know
every
what?
time.
You know what story
Every
right now is
fucking
being
time.
memory hold right now. You're not going to see it on any live news broadcast or anything like that. The Dadeville, Alabama shooting.
I know nothing about it.
Yeah, me neither.
Well, here we go. So there's 4 dead and 32 were injured at a Sweet 16 birthday party in
Oh no, I did hear about this.
Dadeville, Alabama. Teenagers, there's like 3 teenagers or something. They're all brothers who are basically responsible for this, as well as 6 other members. This isn't being broadcast because one, it doesn't fit the narrative. They don't fall under the certain identification demographic. And 2, the guns were obtained illegally. They're illegal guns.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Which defeats the entire argument of the left, is that if you just ban guns, mass shootings will just go away. The mayor, Goodman, said that controlling guns is futile, just like controlling illegal drugs. Absolutely right. And this is the thing. The best way to combat people using illegal guns is good guys with guns. 4 teenagers, 17 to 20, died. And 32 others were injured at a Sweet 16 birthday party when these 3 teenagers and 6 others got a hold of a firearm illegally, which, the left says it can never happen.
yeah.
And you don't hear about this. It's not on any news broadcast because they don't fall under the specific demographic of the left, and it's not a good story to push their agenda.
It's even worse because they won't talk about this because it was a Sweet 16. It was a bunch of minors that shot a bunch of other minors, right, with weapons. And this goes against the narrative like,
gang violence.
the police or a private citizen shoots, a teenager, right? If he's the wrong race, if they're both the wrong race, dude, it's not justified. Never. You can't.
Don't worry.
You can't possibly need to defend yourself against like a 16 or 17-year-old. That's just unjustifiable.
Don't worry though.
They're the
Biden
most
was
volatile ones.
That's
Careful.
But you
Hang
can't
on.
say that. And
So
you can't even.
Biden was in quick response though. Biden actually called for laws that require safe storage of firearms
which exist.
and universal background checks,
Which exist.
I mean, well,
banning
safe storage of
assault
firearms, I'm
weapons
not
and
sure it's all-
high-capacity
It's
magazines,
like a blanket thing, but
and
there are-
eliminating gun manufacturers' immunity from liability.
Yeah, no,
There
we're not
are
doing that.
already background checks for every firearm purchase.
So the first,
Are we going to start suing like Bush Light for like all the drunk driving in
yeah.
America?
So what is this thing? We hear this literally anytime someone on the left opens their mouth about gun control. They always say that we have to require safe storage of firearms. We have to require universal background checks. We have to require, and those are the things that are everyone
the reason
knows
why is
that has
they
a
want
spine.
to-
No, hang on,
they
hang
want to
on.
destroy the industry.
They want to do this. They need to paint a picture to their entire voter base that there is just unfettered guns that you can just walk into a store and leave the same day with a firearm and go and kill 55,000
No,
people.
that would
and
be the
not,
block.
And not be, background checked and stuff like that. That's what they want to paint the picture as. What they actually want is everything after. They just want to ban assault weapons and high capacity magazines, eliminate gun manufacturers' immunity from liability, because they want you to be able to go sue Sig Sauer because somebody used it to kill somebody else. That's what they want. Oh, I'm gonna go sell.
Well, see, the thing that they're trying to pass it as is, well, we're not banning guns. We just want increased liabilities, right? Like, we want to be able to hold people accountable. But what it would do is destroy the gun industry in the United States.
It's what it's designed for. It has nothing to do with
They wouldn't
responsibility.
sell to anyone other
this
than...
is another wet dream of the
So,
shit lib.
it is-
They've wanted that for
it
years
is a
too. There's like
pseudo-ban.
movies from the 90s that are
Don't forget that there was a shooting with the Remington shotgun, and the people,
There will be...
the victim's
It basically
family took it
stopped.
to court, and Remington just basically settled. Like, they
I
settled
hate that.
out.
I hate that. I wish they'd.
So
taken it
here's the
before.
thing. Why you shouldn't hate that, you fucking small brain retard.
Oh, yeah? What
It's
is it?
because there's no precedent now where a judge decided that they could be liable. So here's why you shouldn't hate that. There is no legal precedent for holding a firearm company liable now
The other
because
way,
they settled.
They could have done it
could
the
have
other
been.
way.
You ever heard of case law? What the previous verdicts were on things and how it kind of influences decisions.
So imagine if a judge found them liable, and now you have case law that says, you can hold firearm companies liable. That would have been just as good
It would have been
as a bill
catastrophic.
that says you can. So it's better for Remington to have settled than to play the, to gamble. Like, who knows? Maybe it was a liberal judge.
It's a shame that we see this, honestly, because, I'm going to sue the manufacturer of some Prius that fucking, rams into my car when I get into a car accident.
See, that would be
Because that's the same logic. It's stupid.
that would be the precedent that would be set. If you can sue gun companies,
Exactly. I'm going to
what are you
sue
gonna
everything
do?
that
You're gonna
happens.
Start suing pharmaceutical
Exactly.
companies because someone who was high on an
And wouldn't
opiate
that be
pain,
nice?
And
what does this mean?
Painkiller crashed into someone, or
What does this mean?
What about suing the school that made the doctors
is-
that like fucked up your surgery?
This is nonsensical bullshit that the left perpetuates in order to
it's a
destroy
pseudo
what they want. What they want to be,
ban,
what they want
basically, 'cause
destroyed.
it would just be a ban on firearm sales to civilians.
It gets better. No, it doesn't. Vox.com reports that Alabama's gun laws are as follows. Part of 26 states with Alabama is supposedly part of 26 states with permitless carry laws. Anyone over the age of 18 can carry a firearm in public without a permit in Alabama. So, true. Cool. As it should be, right? This is where they lie. And they do not need a background check, safety training, or to face a waiting period in order to buy a gun. So
There
the
is
waiting
a
period
background check.
the waiting period might not be true,
But there
that's,
is a
that's
background
fine.
check.
But there is absolutely a background check because they have to paint the picture that any old person can just go run around and buy a gun the same day or without any sort of vetting and just go kill people.
I think
It's
now
stupid.
the
It's untrue.
ATF has basically mandated a waiting period, regardless of what state you're in, if you're under the age of 21.
Because we have to basically sell that you can walk in, not have any vetting done, because we have to paint a picture of United States of America being this crazy, chaotic world where people can just go buy guns off the shelf and just basically walk out and go kill people without having any sort of background check, any previous criminality.
It's like they're trying to superimpose
But no.
what it's like to get an illegal firearm in a back alley anywhere in America where it's just like highly densely populated.
What I will
and
say-
they're trying to make it feel like that's what Walmart is.
What I will say is that the criminals go and just get the guns legally, so it does nothing.
it's
Gun
easier.
control
It's just
affects
easier.
law-abiding citizens. So that phrase, how they phrase it, is it's intentionally made to make the layman, which is a vast majority of the population with these things, believe that Alabama does not have any sort of of the standard laws that are established for the nation, right? Background checks. Everyone has to get a background check to purchase a firearm in the United States. Just a fact. But we have to paint the picture that they don't need it. Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Trans debate. There's a lovely video going around of a sort of discussion amongst women about transgender athletes in sports.
Pearl,
Trans women or women?
So I want to come at this from the position of an athlete.
Oh, Jesus.
So I play semi-pro
Pause it
basketball.
there. So keep in mind, you hear the person exclaim, "Oh Jesus!" right? Which is hilarious because the left uses this all the time. I'm gonna say this out of the perspective of XYZ, and everyone goes, "Okay, Val, yes." And it just doesn't apply to anybody else because this is a white woman
The moment
who has an actual problem or
Yeah.
a experience with these things, and that's the thing.
Pro volleyball. So when it comes to athletic spaces, I don't think that trans women should be allowed into athletic spaces because I don't think it's a fair. I think as female athletes, we work so incredibly hard for the little opportunity there is in women's sports.
Would this be a barrier for you?
There's no barrier. There's less opportunity in some industries.
That's what
one
a
of them.
barrier is.
That's what a barrier is. That's what a barrier is. No, because you have to work at something to get it doesn't mean it's a barrier. Okay, this isn't socialism or anything of the sort where you just walk in and just get to do whatever the hell you want. Okay, this isn't the Special Olympics. Okay, life is real.
Not
you have to
everyone-
work for
I would
opportunities.
say that the Special Olympics, those people are real athletes too. They just are missing limbs or
Yeah.
have cerebral palsy. So I
You'd
wouldn't
be-
even say this is the Special Olympics where you can walk in and do anything. Even they have to work harder.
Even they
than
have to
a
work
man
harder to
who
do
decides
things.
To put on
Yeah.
a wig and go to a deadlifting competition.
I mean, have you seen some of their training regimens? Pretty rough.
So
man.
this woman's idea of a barrier
whoever came
is
up with
literally
the,
anything that might be a
rules
little
for
hard work to
Special Olympic
achieve.
soccer.
That's a barrier.
But no, she deserves it.
It sounds like
It's not-
an
no,
insensitive
no,
joke.
no, it's
the
based on
rules
the-
for Special Olympic soccer because you have to use those arm crutches. So you have the entire. And I'm stealing this from some comedian who is on the team. Has only one leg, but he was talking about how you have to basically swing like a foosball character. to kick the ball.
Yeah.
And they joke about the coaches telling you like which side to kick to because all the goalies in Special Olympics soccer have to have an arm missing. So you kick to the side where his arm isn't.
Mods are asleep. Post weird shit.
Yeah, Brandon walked out of the room to deal with things going on in the background. So, how about we come up with a new segment? He's also not going to know any of the timestamps if you say anything wrong.
Brandon's gone segment.
Brandon's gone. Post smooth bread.
Stupid.
What did we talk about?
We were talking about the.
The Special Olympics soccer and how that seems like an insensitive joke that someone made real. But it kind of makes sense in the way that you have to make it hard for the people playing in a certain way. Like it can't just be like, you pick the people with the best disabilities to be on your team.
Because it is at the end of the day a sport, and
There's got to be a competitive nature, right?
There's a sport in competing against a team that is either as good or better than you. Because like when I played baseball, it was no fun trouncing the other team. I just wasted an afternoon. But when I got a team that was that they were good, now that was a fun night.
Well, like I said, it's also a competition, and you can't just have like, all right, yeah, so we're going to choose this guy who has X disability over this guy with X disability. We just put a blanket. Everyone has to have the same disability, so that way you level the playing field.
Yeah.
Which really is the issue with allowing trans people into other sports, men's or women's. Basically, that they have a different biology, and so
Look, we can allow trans
you're not
people.
really
I'll
leveling the
save
playing
this
field.
one when he gets back. I got a good one.
Do you think you should allow trans women into women's chess?
Well, here's the thing.
Like that. Oh, we can't say this stuff anymore. He's back.
Yeah. Whoops.
Stop posting smooth bread.
Sorry, we didn't say anything bad. You won't have to check any of the
But here's the
audio.
question: would you allow trans women into women's chess?
That's funny. No.
Wait. What? I think we can't allow trans women in women's sports because if we're allowed to bet on them.
I mean, you are.
What happens when all sports are just men's sports?
2 million on her
Okay,
loss.
let's continue the audio.
Market. Okay,
Hold
it's
on,
based
hold on,
it's
guys,
based-
let's-
Okay, so again, we work very hard for the little opportunity there is in the
Yes,
space.
correct.
Because we're not as entertaining as the men. Sorry, we're just not. And so it's like you're going to take the little opportunity that we're given. And the problem is, like, we can't compete. We can't. Like, I'm 6 foot. If I go up against a 6 foot guy and I play basketball with him, he's going to body me.
And what happens if I go up against you?
Even
Hold on. Body me. Yelda, hold on.
even if I have years more of training. And so it's like you're taking away the little opportunity that we're given and we all work so hard for. And you're just giving it back to biological guys. It's like this will be the end of women's sports.
Have you
Eli?
tried confidence?
Eli,
Absolutely.
Hold on.
Have you
Sorry,
tried
confidence?
confidence?
Have you tried
Whoa,
confidence? Okay,
bitch.
now
Life is an anime,
Have you tried
dude.
confidence?
Life is an anime.
By the way, the woman speaking is absolutely on point. She is saying what many women, if not all women in women's sports, are saying, but they can't for fear of reprisal.
yeah,
and
like
losing
getting
their
punched
position,
in the fucking public.
like getting punched, physically accosted because they have the wrong think, right?
legitimate terrorism, violence to enact terror.
Now, keep in mind that everyone in this video, there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's 9 women. Sorry, scratch that. There's 8 women and 1 trans woman.
and only 2 of them are making any sense right now.
And everyone's making all the women who are thinking of the right thing are like having this, oh my god, I can't believe this. Like, can you believe this,
yeah,
that she's saying this? I can't believe this. Keep in mind, that's what's going on in this clip. Ready?
Can't make me bench what a guy benches.
I don't
Confidence
understand
can't
why
make
you
me
guys.
sick.
Confidence?
Eli, hold on, Minnie.
Sorry,
Eli.
confidence can't make me bench what a guy benches.
Nailed it.
Confidence can't make me 6'7".
So hostile. She's sharing her
And confidence
experience
can't make
in
me
a
6'7".
specific
No, she's
field.
sharing. And I'd have to go.
No, she's not. She's
Trans misogyny.
No, she's everyone.
That is her experience, dummy.
So-
if we're gonna believe all women, yeah, shut up for at least 1 minute and listen to her.
So
dissenting.
trans misogyny, yeah. So we throw out all these words when we want to shut down people, and kudos for her to continue on and be like,
Yeah, just speak
no,
over her. Yeah, women,
This is what
women
I
need-
feel.
Hey, women need to speak over men. That's what I'm saying, brother.
this is what I feel, and this
Why
is
don't
how
you
you're
shut up
gonna.
over there,
This is
alright?
how you're gonna. This is my experience, and this is what this Australian woman is basically saying. Like, and she hits the nail on the head. Both these women are on point. And
They're not even being unreasonable.
they're not
frankly.
being unreasonable. This is something that is shared by a vast majority of the athletic community. And this Australian woman is going to detail just exactly what everyone's been saying about leftist arguments this entire time.
They're not even saying that they should like kill trans people, like and just put them in the ovens. They're
main
just saying like
woman-
you shouldn't be in the sports.
Once this video ends, I'll tell them more.
She's a woman who's had an
it's always the-
experience.
it's always
You guys are so obsessed with your own experiences and your own existence, and yet when a woman is sitting here telling you, I feel as though this is unfair and this is compromising and this situation is not helping women, you guys are like, meh, meh, meh. But when you're like, I'm a black person that did this, 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 and this, then it's valid and fair and viable.
Eli, I want to give you the chance to respond.
So this is basically a joke of a talking point. Everyone
joke of
You're
a
the
talking
joke.
point because it doesn't fall in line with the narrative.
You have a penis and you
biological
think you're a
advantage.
woman.
in sports. How
So tragically, from viewing this person, it would seem that this is a victim of childhood transgendering. So that's the tragic truth about this.
Rape?
tall are you?
5'11" and a half. I'm tall.
I'm 5'8". I am a trans woman. You would crush me. You would absolutely
Yeah,
crush
bone
me.
density, wrist strength.
Got him. Got him. Because there are objective facts about life. And let me tell you this. The trans woman is about to say some shit where this is supposed to give her credibility. It took a simple Google search of how stupid she is. Sorry, he is. Of why everything this person's about to say is wrong. Here we go.
Yeah.
Muscle density, you can't switch those.
Yeah, exactly. You would crush me.
But also, Eli, you would never play at the level that Pearl plays because you would never get there.
So let me give you a few more examples here too. So Michael Phelps produced more lactic acid in his body, which caused him to swim better than any of his competitors. This was widely celebrated.
Stupid. Asinine.
Celebrated? What does she need?
Actually dumb. Yeah, did you hear a lot of news things about
Sounds like pseudoscience.
Michael
too.
Phelps
Not
being
even
celebrated
science.
for producing a lot of lactic acid? Is that
sounds like a Tumblr post that she
Stupid.
took
really,
serious.
really dumb? See, they throw out words where they try to sound more intellectual than they
Completely throughout the
And
thousands of hours
nobody
that you
contested
trained.
it. Now,
Genetics
this
might
is
play a small part, but everyone starts at a similar baseline. And if you work at swimming or a sport that you might want to do, you can be very good at that sport.
This is the
But
thing that
unfortunately, genetics is a reality.
this is the thing that is being claimed is that lactic acid is a performance enhancing hormone. Ready?
performance enhancing hormone. So we all have different bodies. And now I'm not saying that trans women who aren't on hormones should participate, but every major medical and every major sports organization agrees that
Incorrect.
trans women who have been on hormones for between 1 and 3 years, depending on the organization, have the same competitive abilities.
A blatant lie.
Which is just
A
not fucking
blatant
true.
lie.
Yeah.
Bone density doesn't change. A blatant lie.
I don't.
Let me detail
Doesn't that
what
just change personality?
Let me detail what lactic acid
No, they
actually
were
does.
always retarded.
So it started talking about some stupid shit about lactic acid. For some reason, that gave her more
I
credibility.
still
here.
want to do it. The rest of it was still good.
Lactic acid is not a hormone, by the way. It's a chemical that produces by your cells when they break down carbohydrates for energy. It's also a common misconception that the soreness feeling that you get is due to lactic acid, but it's being stored in your cells. But it's actually the soreness caused by micro tears in your muscles themselves. Studies have been done, and that is simply not true, that lactic acid is then filtered by the liver and kidneys and metabolized into glucose or blood sugar. The function of lactic acid is created when you are generating energy anaerobically. Three main functions are energy, fuel cells, which fuel cells when they're working harder than usual, generating glucose, something that your body can use as energy in the future, and signaling molecule that throughout your body, it attracts cells to your immune system to heal wounds and fight infections. Okay, everyone produces lactic acid.
Yep.
Okay, and this point that she was trying to make was somehow insert man. And apparently, okay, let's just go with that. Let's bring up, lactic acid as being something that everyone was celebrating for Michael Phelps. So is that something you're trying to tell us is exclusive to men and why it's an advantage for them? Not really helping your case.
No.
Not helping your case at all.
That is this. Oh, go ahead.
The study that you're referencing had 7 people participated.
That's
It is not-
misinformation, by the way.
that
I'm
is not
referencing several different.
That's the misinformation, not the
Right.
fact that they
The
just said
sample
that.
size is so fucking small.
Not the fact that they
Has
just
to
said
be,
that it is
inconclusive in any
lactic
meaningful
acid
way.
is a performance enhancing hormone.
Studies. I'm a trans woman and a researcher.
It's getting personal.
I'm a transgender woman and I'm a researcher. There's the qualifications.
No, you just not even
Translation.
Google. Shut the fuck
Translation. What it sounds like, because no one says like researcher as in like a actual career field. It's not a real career field. Translation: I'm a trans woman, so shut up. And I Googled shit.
Yeah.
Apparently
Which,
incorrectly.
by the way, if you remember, right, during the fucking pandemic, every time people were doing research on anything, being a researcher, you're like, don't confuse your Google searches for my PhD. Shut the fuck up.
But there was a discussion with Michael Knowles or somebody similar in that Daily Wire group that a quote unquote PhD of biology or whatever was saying how no, trans women are women. And the entire room just laughed. Okay. And then you're laughing at the expert in the room, which ensued more laughter.
Yeah.
Because this is how diluted.
He said it?
Yeah.
Said that?
Yeah.
You might
This
have
is
shown
how
me
they
that. That's
diluted.
funny.
This is how diluted they
You
are.
have to show this to me after the show.
This is how diluted they are. Delusion is real. Let's continue.
I don't want it to
a
be
lot
personal.
of us live in this space where we're told that our opinions don't count because they're not the right kind of opinions, and we're constantly shouted over and talked over, regardless of what we look like, because there's one group in society that basically takes precedence, and it's frustrating. So yeah, of course, it's frustrating because when we try to talk about it, we get shouted down, we get told to be quiet, we get spoken down too as well. So
Okay, I
there's
think-
hostility there for plenty of women.
Let's try to make this.
Which is just demonstrative by this woman just cackling like,
no.
like
Fucking
Kamala
hyena.
Harris.
We got to hear her reason.
By Kamala Harris, which
amazing.
is great. The ha 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 ha, how naive, basically, to say. What a naive thing to say.
Opportunity to speak.
You're
with
literally a
each
white
other
woman from
then.
Australia. You live in a bubble and you're pissed that voices that have been silenced
racist
forever
against Australians?
finally can be heard.
That's why
You
Angry-
can tell. You can tell she hates white people.
Angry for no reason. And this is the Trump card. Like, insert
it's
race.
okay.
You're white.
You're not the right race.
Yeah.
Your opinions don't matter.
Yeah.
That's how it's been working forever.
have the voice because they speak up.
Yeah.
Got him.
Dumb.
God, I
Dumb.
hate the TikTok
Stupid.
sounds so
It's
much.
awful.
But to go to my point, the main woman that started in that video, she is on.
Pearl. She's everywhere.
She is
I
everywhere.
think, yeah.
The first time I saw
Not
her,
to take away from this creator because she's, not bad, especially if you're into the right wing side of politics. I think it's just Pearly Things or something. So you give credit to that creator.
Yeah. Just Pearly Things is her tag?
yes,
I think so.
it is
Okay. Yeah. Phenomenal.
Female athlete.
Phenomenal. On it.
pretty good volleyball
right-wing
player too. If you
commentator.
want to watch some of her matches.
Especially in times like now where the transgender debate is like in full swing right now, and we have someone who is a woman athlete
Yep.
who can give the inside scoop. But as you can see, there's such resistance to like actual real anecdotes. So the left loves anecdotes, right? If it's from the right people. Okay.
Yeah.
They don't like anecdotes if it's from the wrong people. And this clip just absolutely proved it. Is they don't care that these women are struggling because they have to compete against biological men. No. That's wrong think. You can't think like that.
Yeah.
You have to believe that women can be men and men can be women.
Remember, if you have the wrong opinion as a woman, you have internalized misogyny. You're not actually capable of coming up with your own opinions unless you agree with me.
Shit, I'm sure if a trans person was like, yeah, no, we shouldn't be in women's sports, they'd be like, oh, that's internalized trans misogyny.
Yeah.
Like,
if you
they would
don't
say that
conform to
too.
the narrative, you can't think for yourself.
I'll tell you right
So
now.
it really becomes its own version of sexism.
On my Facebook page, someone that I follow had commented that, or it was like a repost, you know how that works, of like, hey, get vasectomies. Get vasectomies, the actual quotation is, vasectomies prevent abortions. Okay? If we all remember, the major like argument for abortion was that my body, my choice, blah, 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 blah. The same stupid shit over and over and over again. One, it's not your body, it's the baby's body. The moment that it's created, it's completely different DNA other than yours. It can be completely distinguished from you. It's not your body, okay? You had sex, you had a baby, you got pregnant, bada bing, bada boom, okay? Vasectomies, unironically affect the male body wholeheartedly.
Yeah, and the person whose body it is.
It is 100% that man's body.
Less testosterone.
Two, what you're basically calling for is sterilization. A common misconception is that vasectomies are reversible. Vasectomies in the medical
Over
community,
time, they become permanent.
a vasectomy in the medical community is considered a permanent form of birth control.
You know what they don't tell
This
you?
is why they don't allow people who haven't had kids or is too young
Exactly.
to get them.
There's
usually.
two options for a female. You can get your tubes tied. It's the same procedure, but there's two options: permanently and not. you can untie them and then have kids anytime.
It's
throughout
not
that
true.
time.
It is not true. No. Any reports of these surgical means of effectively sterilization, which is what it is. They have, I have stats here. So vasectomies in most cases over a long period of time end up being sterilization, where you cannot reverse them.
I didn't say vasectomy.
This is also true for having tubes tied. There is a lot of shit that goes
realistically
that develops with
wait. They would tie my penis into a knot?
That's your.
So realistically,
Shut up.
I don't know
the
if it's
best
got
way
enough
to avoid
there.
having kids if you don't want to have a kid or can't is to either abstain or put it in a different hole.
birth control, condoms.
So birth control
condoms.
Birth control is an option. The issue with birth control is that it does fuck with women's hormones in their brain, like to a large amount.
Everyone is affected differently depending on the
some people
birth control that they use.
Some people are affected by it a lot. So
I will say that to caveat off of this, there's condoms, and there are both male condoms and female condoms.
I have
and they both
I have
make it worse for the party wearing them.
I have something.
Stop masturbating.
Hey, fair
What do
enough.
you mean?
Masturbation and porn addiction have a lot to do with people's sexual relationships.
That might be true. That's probably true.
Yeah.
I have an announcement.
Masturbation
You
also
can-
affects penile sensitivity, gentlemen.
You can't get preggers from the ass. I don't know if people know that.
Yeah.
Have I mentioned that before?
Yes, you have. Thank you for a callback. Love that. Oh God. So over time, blockages actually. This is according to birthcontrol.com. Over time, blockages form, and some men develop antibodies to their own sperm. So even if the quote unquote surgery quote unquote is successful, where they attach the Vans deferens to the special other tube, right? Your body has created antibodies to your own sperm, and so they just get destroyed. The greatest likelihood of success of reversal of a vasectomy is within the first 3 years of getting the vasectomy. So basically, you have 3 years to reverse it to have the best likelihood of reversing it properly. Pregnancy rates are greater before the 3 year mark are greater than 50%. So those are the stats on vasectomies. I think we have a lot of problem with personal responsibility. People don't like personal responsibility in their lives because it's so much easier to blame it on somebody else than saying that this is a me problem. What do you have information on?
So you were right, and so was I. Apparently,
Is it the same time thing?
it's a doctor is saying that they take multiple considerations to effect. The type of surgery. Apparently, there's more than two. There's several for women.
Oh yeah, you can have
Yeah,
a
there's
you
more
can
than
have
two.
a you can have a
There's-
hysterectomy.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
square knots, there's half hitches, bow
they-
lines.
Don't forget
All
granny
right.
knots.
All right. They take into account your age, the type of surgery you had, their overall health, and health of your ovaries, uterus, and remaining fallopian tubes, and especially
Fallopian.
their length.
Fallopian tubes.
Fallopian. Think you.
Yeah.
Well, and they'll also like go into consideration about your like why you're trying to get this
So keep in mind,
reversed, and apparently it's saying here that your age after, I think they say 40, it's like not you're not going to get it reversed.
yeah. So keep in mind, folks, that was then. Now, vasectomies and hysterectomies and tube tying is extremely easy to come by because we are changing, our stances on these things. There was a time where they were asking your primary health provider might ask you if you have children, you may want to have children in the future. If you want to have new babies in the future after you already have your kids and they grow up, they may still ask you those things, but largely you can just go in and have a vasectomy. You might have an information class that's necessary, but there's really no stopping getting a vasectomy, right? There's no prerequisites. Because there was a time where, like, if you do not have any kids, they just simply would not give you a vasectomy. There was like, no, sorry, we cannot. Now it's just like, you don't have any kids? You don't want any? Cool. Let's cut them, right? And that's what we're seeing now a lot with these other more permanent forms of birth control, which is damning, and this is why the American population is in decline. We are not producing babies. We need to produce more babies. Procreate, please. We don't have enough people to replace the next generation, or the old generation. Job shortages are going to be a lot worse. Sorry, not job shortages. people to work those jobs. It's gonna be a lot worse. But yeah. Anything else anybody else want to add? Yeah.
No, I'm good.
No. All right. Well, thank you all so much for joining me on the whole magazine with Hayes, Walker, and Cornett.